ナイツエンパイア。今日は試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるってよ。みんな、ブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
I'm doing all right, Jeff. Doing all right. We'll make it. Yeah.
All right, so I believe you guys can hear me now. So welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I am your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here with our co-host, as always, King Rome. Orange Cassidy is your new All-Atlantic champion. Congratulations to Orange Cassidy. This was absolutely fucking awesome. It was absolutely time for them to pull the trigger on this. I had an absolute blast tonight, and Canada, you guys are fantastic. You guys busted out one of the best crowds I have heard in a minute. So, kudos to you guys out there in Canada. This was a fantastic episode of Dynamite.
Yeah, great crowd, really fiery. Good to see that. AEW's first international show, and they were definitely ready for AEW tonight. But yeah, man, Orange Cassidy, what a night, what a fucking night. Huge Orange Cassidy guy, always have been. Day one of those day one guys, and yeah, it's fucking awesome. It's great to see it. Like, this feud is exactly what I was saying about Orange Cassidy when people were like, no, he's not the guy. He can't do things like that. He shouldn't be a champion. Shouldn't carry championships. Like, this feud though is exactly what I knew Orange Cassidy was all about, and it was great to see. From the segment last night on the Road 2 show, where he's talking about how he's not going to try, he's going to win, he's done trying, he's going to succeed. Just to tonight, like, excellent match, super well done. Even with the hammer spots and Bryce, catching on finally, it's just, yeah, perfect trifecta of a moment to, pull the trigger and have Orange Cassidy win a title.
Yeah, man, I love the way Bryce got involved there in this match. It was the perfect way for, one of our favorite referees to kind of showcase some more of his talents. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Let's start from the top here. An amazing episode of Dynamite, and I'm sure everybody heard throughout the week the whisperings of Renee Paquette, possibly showing up here tonight. So I decided to make the thumbnail with Renee Paquette. As soon as I saw them put that All Elite graphic, I was like, yep, she's showing up immediately. I was like, I'm putting this on here. And sure enough, we start off the show with Renee Paquette coming out on the stage. Unfortunately, she had to introduce Christian Cage to us, which the crowd immediately started booing, which I was surprised at considering he's from Canada, but he is extremely, he's got that heat right now, so he's doing his job very, very, very well.
I don't think he was booed immediately. It wasn't until he started talking about the Blue Jays in the playoffs that
True.
That they started turning on him. He had to get them. He had to get them booing him. So it was a good heel work there to kind of get the crowd to flip, kind of mid segment.
Yeah, saying the Maple Leafs going out in the first round. The hockey, I could appreciate that. He did say the Toronto Blue Jays as well and stuff like that. And then I gotta mention this because Philly fans over here. Excalibur had to throw in there to Taz, kind of like the Mets losing in the excuse me, in the wild card game there.
Yeah, right.
I'm choking. I'm dying. No, I'm good. So immediately, Christian Cage introduces Luchasaurus after he insults the local sports teams, both of them. Um, and we get Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus in a really, really good opening match for Toronto here. This match was amazing, not just because we had a shout out to the Broken Tables podcast in it. This match was really, really good.
Yeah, it was an excellent opener, and I almost felt like this was a pay-per-view quality match. Just really excellent, really, really good storytelling being done here, and just excellent in-ring action, like you said. Podcast shout out, and yeah, we're
You know,
not done with this yet.
it's really funny that you say this was a pay-per-view quality match. I felt like this all night. I felt like this was a pay-per-view quality show.
Yeah, definitely. I just really strong show, really,
Yeah,
really strong
absolutely.
show.
Mia just says it has been great for the women in the last couple weeks. Mia, that is a absolute fact, man. I was thinking during this tag match that we had later on that the women in AEW are absolutely killing it right now. Anything with Toni Storm and these four women tonight: Toni Storm, Hikaru Shida, Jamie Hayter, and Britt Baker. Anything involving them right now is absolute fire. I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah, Toni Storm on a consecutive roll here. I believe this was her 9th or 10th Dynamite in a row.
Yeah.
That she competed, and just I mean, the women's division has really been putting on good matches, good storylines, all around good content. I mean, between the women's championship and the TBS championship, I mean, what more really can you ask for?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So this match between Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, we had a huge, tease for a table spot early in the match. But obviously they didn't give it to us yet. We went through a really, decent back and forth between Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy before Jungle Boy hits like an over the top ropes power bomb kind of thing because Luchasaurus was hanging on to the ropes and he power bombs him through that table, man. And that spot was freaking awesome. When I first saw them attempting it, I was like, that table's really far away. Is he gonna make it over there? But dude, he made it and he went straight through that table. It looked really, really good.
Yeah, it was a really cool spot. Yeah, I'm glad that Jungle Boy was the one that put Luchasaurus through the table. I thought
Yeah,
that
it
was
was
really
really good. So obviously after this table spot, Christian comes down to the ring to start casting distraction. He does his best to distract Jungle Boy, which always works. All he's got to do is look at him and say something to him, and Jungle Boy turns around and forgets he's in a wrestling match. But hopefully, once he becomes, Jungle Man, he'll start not doing that anymore. But we'll see. So we get a couple of choke slams, kickouts at 2.9 seconds. We got huge chants for Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. It was like back and forth, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy. Really, really good crowd tonight. I can't say that enough. Um, Man, the Poison Rana. I absolutely love that freaking move. And Luchasaurus took a huge Poison Rana from Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy hits a kill switch, but only gets the 2.9. I thought it was over there. I thought after the kill switch we were going to get the 3 count, but Luchasaurus kicks out. Christian comes in, casts distraction again, and Luchasaurus winds up hitting the, I believe he calls it the cutthroat. Is that what they're calling it? I thought it was the extinction event, but Excalibur's been saying cutthroat, I believe.
Gimmick, heel face turn. Sometimes they change the moves up a little bit, so it's possible.
Yeah. Mia just says, I didn't watch Battle of the Belts because I thought it wouldn't be important. You missed Jade losing the title. So Mia she didn't technically lose the title. Nyla Jade just stole the belt, and now she's running around like she's the champion.
Rose. I know Ryan Davis saying it almost feels like I won the All Atlantic tonight, dude. I was floored. I was loving it. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was really good. I was very, very happy with that. But yeah, great match here. Luchasaurus picks up the win. Obviously they're still teasing Christian versus Jungle Boy again sometime in the future when he's healthy. Don't know when that'll be, but somewhere around 6 to I believe 8 months from now.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to continue to, obviously this isn't the last we saw of the Jungle Boy. Luchasaurus feud. I think the next step is probably something without rules, and then end it in a cage. I feel like this is a good feud to end in a cage, especially if Christian Cage keeps getting involved. I think a cage match is where we're going with this. So that's just early fantasy booking.
I'm thinking we might get some sort of Luchasaurus in a cage match where he's trapped in a cage. It just seems like that would be something funny because in all the Jurassic Park movies, like you got a raptor or something in a cage. But we shall see. We shall see. All right. Next up, we had Renee Paquette backstage with Ethan Page and Stokely Hathaway. Um, I'm kind of digging what they did here with Mark Quinn and his brother's contracts here for Private Party. They basically the firm has purchased their contracts from Jose and Andrade El Idolo, so that was a good way of separating them from Andrade there. I really love this contract stuff that they're doing. You know, for those of you who are like in the know with the whole WWE contract tampering stuff, I just giggle at this. It makes me laugh. So we're gonna be getting Isaiah versus Ethan Page for basically for their freedom, right? For the rights to their contract.
Yeah, so basically, if Isaiah wins, if he beats Ethan Page, Private Party's contracts are free and they can do whatever they want. If Ethan Page wins, then Matt Hardy will also his contract will also be under the control of the firm.
That's an interesting one. Where do you think they're going with this? Do you think they're just kind of running on the fly because of the Andrade stuff, or do you think they actually have an idea here?
I don't think that they're necessarily running on the fly. I feel like this storyline probably was going the way it was going in general. Part of me thinks that Andrade was going to lose to 10 on Rampage.
Okay.
That's my theory at the moment. I think that Andrade made it clear he didn't want to work. And so Tony was like, well, let's use this to get someone over. At least that's what I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Andrade was going to win and they were going to continue to break up the Dark Order. I think that makes sense as well. But with the direction they're going, I don't know. I think the contract tampering stuff is I don't find it as funny. Mainly because I'm annoyed by it in real life.
Yeah, I know what
So
you mean.
like I acknowledge, like it's cool that they acknowledge it and it's cool they poked fun. The first few weeks it was kind of funny. Um yeah, it's wearing a little thin on me, but I understand why they're doing it because they're doing it for that reason. So like I accept it for what it is and just kind of like, okay, it doesn't bother me, but I'm not really like in love with it at this point.
I got you.
But I don't know where they're going with this. I think Ethan Page is going to win on Friday. And then we'll see where they go from there. I don't know.
Yeah, I would definitely be shocked if Ethan Page lost on Friday. You know, Isaiah is good, but they got to start pushing Ethan Page here, so it would definitely make the most sense for him. I mean,
Well,
unless
he's
we
going to
get
be the next. He's
unless we
probably going
get
to be the
some
next
crazy
challenger for.
what's
Sorry,
that?
go ahead. No, go ahead first.
I was
You
gonna
go
say
ahead.
unless we get some sort of crazy screwy finish, which in a match like this, and they don't do it often in AEW, I don't mind. You know what I mean? So
Mhm. I think that I think Ethan Page is going to win here. I think they need to start building him up a little bit. I
yeah.
think he's going to be the first challenger for Cassidy.
Okay. That's a really good idea. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, next up we got QT Marshall on the mic making fun of Wardlow and Samoa Joe. The last thing that I would ever do, by the way, is make fun of either of those two fucking guys. You got to be dumb. You got to be crazy. So QT Marshall says you guys are idiots. All you did was combine, you know, the first part of each one of your guys' names. So we get Nick Camarado and QT Marshall versus Wardlow and Samoa Joe. War Joe. You know, and like Taz said, man, these are a couple of bad dudes. You know, this was an awesome. I wouldn't call it exactly a squash match because, you know, they got to fight back a little bit. You know, these two, Nick Camarado and QT, do, you know, get their work in, but man, these guys look great. Joe and Wardlow work together incredibly. And I think they're going to keep building this up for a couple weeks until we get them facing each other, man. That's going to be incredible.
Yeah. We'll see where we go with it. I do wonder if this ends with them facing each other though. I feel
Yeah.
like you kind of have to, but I'm also not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure either, but like what I'm thinking is having them kind of as a tag team is getting them used to being in the ring with each other, and it almost ensures to have a smooth match if they ever do have a match. So I can't wait. I really hope we get to that one day.
Hmm.
So yeah, essentially, Wardlow and Samoa Joe absolutely annihilate QT Marshall and Nick Camarado. We got a huge senton atomico from Wardlow to Samoa or to QT Marshall. Samoa Joe locks in the Coquina Clutch, which I don't think he is named yet in Ring of Honor or AEW, whatever you want to say for now, but it is the Coquina Clutch or rear naked choke he puts out, and he chokes him out. And I wrote down here Samoa Joe picked up QT and kind of Wardlow was standing there looking like, I just wrote down this looked like a prison violation to QT. Like it was like Samoa Joe like throwing him to Wardlow, and Wardlow was like, "Yeah, come over here." Like, man, it was hilarious. I absolutely loved this.
Yeah, it's a good pairing. It is a very good pairing.
Yeah, and then I'm sure you enjoyed what came next. Prince Nana starts coming out with the embassy. Yeah. I
Prince
love
Nana
how Brian Cage said nobody wants to see you powerbomb QT, and the crowd was like, "What? Yeah, we do." They talk about how they've been around all day. They've been in Canada the whole week, and they haven't seen FTR yet, and they don't think they're gonna show up. And before Brian Cage can finish his sentence, FTR's music plays, and holy shit, the pop that FTR gets here was incredible. Dax points down at his arm, insinuating goosebumps. Like, FTR is so over, man. I love these guys.
Yeah, Dax dropped an F-bomb on TV.
Did he? I missed it. What did he do?
The censor got it out, but they got in the ring and they were just cheering him, and he said something like "fuck it" or something like that. But like you could like the way AEW does the censors is that they switch mics to a different mic.
Yeah, it like goes to
So
the crowd mic. It's like the crowd.
yeah, like you still hear what's being said, but you kind of don't.
Yeah.
So they switch to it. You can still kind of hear like the beginning of or like something like that. They're in the ring and it happens. It's not like a huge thing, but I just thought it was funny. It was like, all right.
I got you. I got you. So basically, FTR says, these two guys just wrestled a match. We're not going to make them, wrestle again on Friday night for Rampage. But we got somebody who will, join us for a trios match against you guys. And this is where I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, they kept referencing 10 for a moment, somebody from Canada, and they, I literally thought 10 from Dark Order. I was like, is 10 from Dark Order from Canada? And immediately Shawn Spears starts to come out. So what I'm wondering here, do you think that 10 from the Dark Order, like I've been saying, I think he's splitting off. I think 10 is going to break up. Do you think he's going to leave the Dark Order and become Preston Vance, and then we're going to get Shawn Spears as, the perfect 10 again?
No, I just think that I think that they were teasing 10 for Shawn Spears. They weren't teasing
Okay.
it for Preston.
You think they were just, doing that for the fans who remember?
Yeah, well, so he's clearly back in a babyface capacity because he's joining the Pinnacle. The Pinnacle's back together minus MJF. So I guess they couldn't do the chairman thing, which I really like the chairman gimmick, so I was a little disappointed to see that gimmick kind of go. But I mean, he's back. He's back as a babyface. And yeah, I mean, he's a great wrestler, great talent. It's good to see him again. It's been a while. I do appreciate they didn't put a camera on it, and I wish they had, but they had this little bit of a meeting between Wardlow and Spears. And again, it was during one of the panning shots from the camera, and I wish that they had kind of put the hard cam on the ring to kind of establish it. Maybe they'll do it like in the future. But they have Spears turn to Wardlow, and Wardlow's like, "Hey, man, this is kind of awkward."
Because he was with MJF not too long ago.
MJF. Shawn Spears' last match was against Wardlow, and Wardlow beat him in the cage match.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm. But so Wardlow and Spears, they kind of like stared down for a little bit, and like Spears kind of gave like a little like, "Come on, what did you want me to do?" Um, and then like Wardlow's like, "Yeah, it's true, all right." And then they shook hands, and then they kind of gave like a side hug type deal. Um, but so I appreciated them for kind of smoothing that over. I just wish the camera angles had kind of caught up with that as well.
Yeah, I love when they do stuff like that. Just don't just ignore history, you know what I mean? So yeah, it looks like on Rampage we're gonna get FTR and Shawn Spears versus the Embassy. That's gonna be freaking great. I can't wait for that. So that's gonna be good. All right, next up we had Tony Schiavone backstage with the Jericho Appreciation Society. Cutting a pretty decent promo on Garcia. Saying Danielson, you forced us to hurt our boy. You know what I mean? Like because of all this crap you did, we had to hurt him. And they really pulled the wool over my eyes, even though I was the one saying this a few weeks ago that Garcia is actually not, turned. And, we'll get to that later. But yeah, this was a great promo, and it definitely kept me off guard for what was going to happen later tonight.
Yeah, I thought it was a little weird at that point because I'm sitting there and they're talking and Jericho's like he hasn't answered my calls or my texts, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe if I was overthinking it, but I was like, why are you still calling and texting him?
Yeah.
That was kind of where I was like, wait a second, hold on, why are you still calling and texting this guy if he already left the JS and you beat him last week? So I don't know.
That's a good point.
It was a thought.
Yeah. All right, next up we had Sneaky Swerve versus Billy Gunn. I'm sorry, Daddy Ass Billy Gunn. The Acclaimed came out and did an incredible extended rap. This had to be the longest rap they've done. I'm pretty sure that was the most amount of lines he's ever spoken in there. Did you notice that?
I don't know if it was necessarily longer. I mean, maybe by like a line. No, I mean it was good though. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was great. Dude, the Acclaimed are just so over, man. Like they got a massive pop here in Canada. It's everywhere. Everybody loves the Acclaimed. In the rap was a whole bunch of Canadian references that I didn't get. So, it was still good, but I'm sure that was more for the crowd because it always is. The crowd was huge with the "Oh, scissor me, daddy." This crowd was excellent. They really, really added to the show tonight. What up, Juhas? Juhas in the chat. Good show. Absolutely, man. Great show. The crowd really, really did help a lot. It was great.
Yeah.
So we got a great match between Swerve and Billy Gunn, man. Like Billy looks great do you know his age? I keep forgetting it's 60 something, right?
Yeah, I think he's like early 60s.
That's wild, man. He's like right up there. He's got to be the second oldest to Sting, I'm guessing,
Yeah, it's kind of really jarring to see him comparatively to what his former stablemates look like.
Yeah. I was just thinking that as I saw him in the ring. I was like, man, those other dudes from DX look like crap, and he's over here putting on a banger, looking like a monster still. It was great.
Yeah, it's insane to me. He took his shirt off, and I'm just like, how?
Yeah.
How? How is this guy still doing this?
All right, Juhas. Well, have a good night at treatment, man. As good as it can be, So yeah, this was a great match. Swerve told a story with this match here. He had a huge like springboard kick to the knee. So we had Billy selling his knee the whole match. At first, when he first kicked him, he was talking to the ref, and the ref was getting down close to him. They had me sold thinking this was like a legit injury in the middle of the ring. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, man, Billy's old. He just took a kick to the knee. It looked nasty. I was like, what if that was real? Like, these guys know how to sell so well, and they do such a good job of it. I was fooled multiple times tonight. Like,
yeah. Real quick little thing after Dynamite went off the air, Chris Statlander showed up to celebrate with Orange Cassidy.
Oh, nice, cool.
Yeah, complete leg brace and everything. Not ready to wrestle, but
No, yeah, I didn't think so. I mean,
he-
she's got another year from when she had surgery, which wasn't too long ago. So
I don't think it's a year. I think it's like 7 months.
I think it was the same as her last one, and she took 12 months last time. It's the exact same injury, but the other leg. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I heard it was like 10. I heard she was going to be at like 10 to 11 months. So
Okay,
I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe. I don't
a
know.
couple months less is fine with me. But in this match, we got a huge Swerve stomp. Billy kicks out at 2.9. I thought Swerve had it there. Couple of nice reversals. Swerve grabs onto the ropes during the pin. This was a very unique, pin thing with the ropes. I don't even know how to say that. Because you know how some
Well,
people put their feet on the ropes or something like that. I've never seen somebody kind of hug the rope the way that Swerve did, and it really hit it from the ref's view the way he did it. I thought it was very well done.
yeah, I think it was. It's just him being a heel. He's continuing this heel turn, and it's just him. Like he made it clear on the Road to promo that he was going to just break all the rules and do things the wrong way because that's what's going to get him ahead. And yeah, I thought Billy looked great, and this was a really really good match. I thought that they were gonna do. I didn't think they were gonna go as long as they did.
Yeah, me
So
neither.
pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, so Swerve gets the win with a sneaky Swerve pin. Grabs the ropes. Ref couldn't see it. And immediately after the match, we got the Acclaimed into the ring to, tell Daddy Ass it's okay. And they were about to do the whole three-way scissor thing when they are interrupted by Tony Nese and Mark Sterling. And dude, the smile that appeared on my face when I realized what was about to happen. This was one of my favorite. This Mark Sterling lawyer thing is so good. I absolutely love this guy. And every time it builds up to me, I can't wait to see somebody just kick his ass. Just get him in the ring in that goofy ass suit that he wears for his wrestling matches and someone just to whoop his ass. But he has trademarked the scissor me phrase in wrestling. So now they can't do the scissor me thing or say it. And he gets all the royalties from their t-shirts. Rome, I got to ask you, sir.
Mm.
How do you feel about the royalties from the t-shirt that you bought going to Mark Sterling instead of the Acclaimed?
Oh man, I thought this was such a really cool heel thing to do. And it's a unique thing to do with Mark Sterling as a character because like he's a lawyer, so that's something that a heel lawyer would do.
So
Uh,
good. So good.
it was really good, and obviously we're going to set up to a match where it's going to be like title versus title for legal rights to the term.
I didn't even think that far ahead yet. That's brilliant.
Oh
All
yeah,
right, we'll
that's
put our
what it
titles
was.
up against our rights to say scissor me. That's fucking brilliant. I love it.
Yep,
I didn't
and it
even
makes
think
sense
that far
because
ahead yet.
Woods and Nice aren't. So they lost to Swerve in Our Glory, and I don't think that they've really won too many matches. So it even makes sense that they're not the number one contenders. That they're just like, hey, man, we're not ready. We're not in line for a title shot. But if you want your thing back, your IP back, you're gonna have to put us at the front of the line. And I think that that's really smart mark, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. That is great. Oh, I can't wait to see where this goes. I love Mark Sterling. I love seeing him get his ass kicked, and I love seeing him in these storylines. It is freaking fantastic. All right, next up, we had probably my favorite segment of the entire night, and that includes matches. Alex Marvez with MJF. And MJF's, gets going, starts to cut his promo, and Stokely Hathaway comes in and interrupts him. MJF shoots down Stokely Hathaway like a freaking F-16 in the sky. And just, I don't know where they're going with this. I thought the firm was working for MJF, and all of a sudden there's like infighting. He's like, if you guys don't stop doing this crap, I'm going to fire your ass, and capiche? And he's like, now scurry along. Like, wow, dude, I was shocked at that. After that, MJF cuts one of the greatest promos. I say this all the time with this guy and Mox, but my God, this promo was incredible. He something about his face and his demeanor has matured from that, like, you know how like in football when you see a college football player compared to an NFL player, you can just see that little bit of a difference between their body sizes, you know what I mean? Like that, I don't want to say it from a boy to a man, but you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Something about MJF has evolved to that next level and he looks legit as hell, dude. Like, I I'm probably one of the biggest MJF fans on the planet right now. Like this figure up here is autographed. I bought it the second I saw it. Like this dude, he's number one in my book at the moment.
Yeah. So I think number one with the firm. I mean, I think honestly, I think MJF's working us. I think this is a swerve. I think
It's
that we're
got to
getting
be.
ready for the firm versus the Blackpool Combat Club. I think that's I think that's the direction here, and I think all of that's going to center around MJF and Mox at Full Gear. That's just kind of where I'm looking at it. I think that they're gonna play it off where like maybe MJF is kind of sympathetic. You know, maybe he is coming into his own. Maybe he wants to do things his own way, and then he's gonna say, "No, fuck you. Actually, I just want to be the world champion. I don't care how I do it." Um,
Yeah.
that's how I think. And again, and yeah, you're right. This MJF promo was really good, really powerful. You know, and you believe every word he says. You do believe he's going to be the next world champion.
Now, let me throw this at you. What do you think of MJF becoming the world champion and then Shawn Spears turning somehow on Wardlow and becoming the TNT champion and MJF and him somehow back together and we have like a team of these two champions? Because for a long time, even with the TBS championship and the, you know, women's championship, like they're separate. The TNT
Mhm.
title and the men's championship, they've been separate. Like they almost never cross paths. I would actually really like to see some heels together working with them.
Maybe. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't think they're going to go that route. I think they just kind of did a whole. They just literally did away with the whole chairman gimmick. So I don't know.
Yeah.
If you make all that change just to kind of. I think a heel Shawn Spears that doesn't do the chairman gimmick is a step back. Um, that's just me.
I could see that. Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, give him that TNT title somehow. I don't see that being, I think that would be awesome. All right. So, you know, in this promo, MJF says that he learned the hard way that nice guys finish last. That was one of my favorite lines that he said here. So, like I said, this was great, unbelievable promo from MJF. I wrote down he's ascended to that next level. Like he's at the top. He's up there with when you talk about the top guys in wrestling, you got to talk about MJF now. It's just how it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Next up, we had Tony Schiavone with his quick in-ring interview with John Moxley, where you know he introduces his guest, and then they take the ring, and that's that for Schiavone. Um, you know, Moxley's had a pretty decent promo here. I like how he said some of these wrestlers self-destruct, and then some faster than others. That had to be a shot at Punk. Did you get that?
Yeah, it was. I mean, he's talking about being the world champion
Yeah.
and the pressure that comes with it. So yeah, that was a shot at CM Punk.
Yeah, absolutely. So as soon as he mentions Hangman's name, we get Hangman's music and he starts to come out. Um, this was a really good promo from Hangman while MJF made it known that he was watching up in the rafters. Hangman said, you know, you can watch, but you better be listening. And he went off on a really good promo, said, you know, you called me a kid last week. Do you think I'm a kid? And he just went off like, I have a kid like you do. He's like, I'm 31 years old. I'm a man. He started punching himself in the face. And he actually wound up giving everyone caught that, but he gave himself a nice little shiner. It was pretty funny. But excellent promo there from Hangman. What did you think on that?
Yeah, I absolutely love this promo. This is the type of stuff. This is the type of shit that I'm talking about when I say Hangman Page is a phenomenal worker. I thought that this promo was super powerful, and I think it bounced off of last week's promo really well. Clearly Mox is Mox. So, he's this generational talent with these, he's a tough guy, real cool, laid back. He's never going to just give someone their flowers, let's say. But like, I feel the mutual respect, but also the mutual, I know what you can do, so I need to be at the top of my fucking game type like vibe from these guys. And yeah, the Hangman promo, man, it was excellent. And I know Coach is sitting there in the future, like, oh, it wasn't that good. It's fine.
Well,
Like,
see that.
no, this was an excellent promo.
I was gonna say that, Coach. I want you to let us know in the Discord what you thought of this Hangman promo here. And I want you to watch it all the way through.
Yeah,
all the way through, especially where he punches himself in the face.
Yeah. No, so like, it's just a really powerful promo, and it came from the heart. You can just tell, just the shit that he's been through. Like he's like,
Yeah.
I've lost my old friends. My old friends are gone. Talking about the Elite, he's like, my new friends, they keep, I've let them down time and time again, and now they're phasing away where, I feel like they're disappearing by the week. He's like, I've lost so much. I was the world champion, then I lost. My anxiety, my depression. Again, like, people don't realize this character, this Hangman character, it's not that he's a cowboy. It's an anxious millennial cowboy. And I think that's where people don't connect with the character, where they expect him to come out as this big, tough, strong guy. I feel like people almost kind of expect him to be like Mox with a cowboy hat. Like, I feel like that's the expectation, and that's just not what Hangman is.
No.
I loved this promo. I thought this was an excellent promo. I don't see him beating Mox next week, because I think Mox MJF is the money match at the pay-per-view. But like, man, I don't think Hangman could have done anything more for me to like if MJF wasn't a factor here, and like MJF's not in the equation, I would probably be taking Hangman. I was like, this was a phenomenal promo. Big T's 100% right. This was a very Mick Foley, Terry Funk-esque promo. It's a man of the people kind of promo, and there's just, again, it's just fiery, passionate, real. It's relatable, like relatability.
Yeah.
Like, Hangman on Page is much like Mick Foley. He's just super relatable. At least for people my age. I can't speak for those older or younger, but I'm an anxious millennial myself. So I just constantly, this guy speaks to me in a great way, and he puts on excellent in-ring work, and fuck the Hangman haters. Again, it's so wild to me, because I was not. Yeah.
I like what Ryan Davis said there. Best hanger promo ever. Wish he'd have that fire as the champ. Yeah, man. The punches, I liked them. They just went a little too long. He could have done about 3 less and not given himself that black eye, and would have been perfect. He punched himself like 7 or 8 times. Like 2, 3, or 4 would have been fine, to get the point across. Like bang, bang, bang. But he kept going. He was like bang, 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 bang. Like, it is what it is. But it was okay. Got the point across. It really pumped me up. I can't wait to see these two have another match with this new fiery Hangman.
Part of me thinks he was trying to bust himself open, because he took his blood at the end of the segment and put it on Mox's shirt.
Yeah, that takes a lot to get yourself to bleed. I don't know. It's not easy.
I don't think it was that big of a deal.
No, but not easy. I'll put it that way. All right, next up we had Bryan Danielson versus the Lionheart, Chris Jericho. Now, when Jericho's music first started, it was Judas, and this crowd really, really wanted to sing Judas, and then it switched over to the Lionheart music, and it felt like they were so sad for a moment. But once his Lionheart music went away, they decided to sing Judas themselves. I don't know if you noticed that, but they sang the entire song with no music background for the whole first part of the match. It was awesome. Of course, Bryan Danielson starts this match out at 100 miles an hour like he always does. Dude, how many times can we say it? There's no such thing as a bad Bryan Danielson match. And I think we have to say it as well for Jericho. There's no such thing as a bad Jericho match. At least
Yeah,
not right now.
I thought this was an excellent match. Uh, so I do think, and I don't feel this way very often. I feel like this match was kind of booked into a corner where it Jericho needed to win here, but at the same time, I felt like Danielson was kind of the one who was lined up to win it.
Yeah.
So I know they do the big swerve with Garcia at the end, and I think that kind of negates it a little bit for me. But I just do think that again, maybe you don't do this match here. I get you wanted to have a huge main, or not even a main event, but you wanted to stack your card for the Toronto show, the Canada show, and this was an excellent match. I don't have an issue with the
Yeah.
match. But I just I going into this, like, I was sitting there before Dynamite started, and I'm just like, I don't know exactly what they're gonna do here because Jericho is way too early in this Ocho thing, and he's made it clear he wants to tear down Ring of Honor, so he's not going to lose on his his second defense against a Ring of Honor guy. Like, he's going to lose to somebody, obviously, eventually, but he's going to wrestle more Ring of Honor guys before he does that. So
Yeah.
that was kind of weird to see. And then again, like, I think Danielson, I think this is by Bryan Danielson's choice because he's made it clear he doesn't care about, being a champion or even winning matches. He doesn't mind losing matches. Um, however, I do think that they need to be very cautious with that because you do want guys to stay credible. And I think Danielson could definitely win a few more profile matches. Not that he doesn't win any matches. He made it to the finals of the world title tournament, back at Grand Slam. But I don't know. It just I just want them to tread carefully here. It felt like a match where both guys needed the win, but they still did it. That's not really usually a thing that Tony Khan does, but I mean, it's not a huge thing. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. Yep. But dude, this match was great. And like you were saying, you weren't sure if they should have done the match. I think the only way that it made sense doing it is what they did. So they had to have this swerve where something happened where Jericho beat him, obviously in a sports entertaining way. This definitely should set up. It's got to set up in the future after Jericho goes through a whole bunch of champions from Ring of Honor. Danielson challenges him again and should take it from him. You know what I mean? Like, that should be where we go. I hope.
I don't know. Again, I feel like, and it's another thing Tony Khan doesn't do very often is he doesn't do a lot of rematches. So,
This
a
is true.
lot of guys you wait like a year and a half to get a rematch sometimes.
That
So
was their third match, wasn't it?
that was the third match, which really kind of leads you to believe that I don't know if it's going to be a match we see for a while. And the Garcia swerve kind of also makes me question the Garcia being the one to beat Jericho thing. I mean, obviously that's way down the line and you could do more things with it, but I felt like if you were going to do that kind of thing, I felt like that was the window right there. It makes sense not to take Garcia away from the JAS, like it does. But
Big T just put it, he says this is 100% leading to Jericho versus Garcia for the Ring of Honor title. I could see that where he's pretending to be back on Jericho's side because he wants that belt. I could see that.
I mean, if he's back with that, I don't know. I don't know if I like that. If the idea is for him that he's playing kind of coy and like being a fake friend, so that way he can take the title. I don't know if I like that. But
Yeah,
I mean, maybe
it's tough to figure out. I like that. I like how it's not really obvious where we're heading with this. So let's keep it going. So we had a really good match here. We had a giant arm drag suplex off the top rope from Danielson to Jericho. Jericho put Danielson in the Lion Tamer. Danielson put Jericho in the Lion Tamer. We had "This is awesome" chants. I mean, I think we had "This is awesome" chants for every match tonight. I can't remember a match that didn't have a "This is awesome" chant. We had a missed lion salt from Jericho landing on his face. Nobody home. Danielson goes up top, tries to hit I think he was trying to hit something off the top rope, but he gets a code breaker from the top rope. Jericho pushes Danielson into the ref. Daddy Magic comes down and gives Jericho the belt. Garcia comes running down and takes the belt away from Jericho. Danielson utilizes the distraction from Garcia and hits the Busaiku knee onto Jericho. But then out of nowhere, Daniel Garcia smashes Bryan Danielson with the belt, and we get Chris Jericho for the win. So yeah, like like we were saying, this is really tough to figure out what direction they're going in. This could lead in multiple different directions. Garcia is already he's the pure champion, right? Or no?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the pure champion. Like, this could go multiple different ways, I don't see them, now that I think about it, I don't see them putting 2 titles on Garcia, so I doubt he's going after that Ring of Honor title anytime soon. He's already the pure champ. So I don't know. That's a wild one. We'll have to see what's going on there. All right, next up, another interview with Renee Paquette backstage with Nyla Rose, your new fake TBS champion. Nyla Rose has stolen the belt, by the way. She did not win the championship. If you missed last Battle of the Belts, essentially after the match, she came down and stole the belt, and now she is parading around as if she is the champion. And we had Anna Jay come out and challenge her for the not real fake stolen championship. So it's going to be Anna Jay versus Nyla Rose for the fake championship here. I don't even know what to think of that. What do you think of that?
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
Yeah,
Jeff.
man.
I like it. It's something unique. It's something new. This is clearly not where Jade loses the title. So do something else. I mean, like, here's the thing, right? Like, when you do these like unbeaten streak storylines, you got to go places with it, because after a while it just kind of bleeds together. So, and I would argue that Jade's title reign has done that. Not that that's a bad thing or a knock against Jade. It's just, every match every opponent's story is lined up the same. It's all about beating Jade. So I think it's a really it's a great breath of fresh air, and it's a great way to kind of expand on the women's division, because now we have another women's match on TV. You can look at the match times and see what company is valuing the tether women talent. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And now we have another women's match. But I loved it. I think Nyla Rose is super underrated, super talented. I love her. She's great. So I enjoyed it.
I'm really hoping that instead of giving the belt to the ref to hold up, for the match whenever they have these type of matches with her, I hope Vicky Guerrero kind of like shoves the ref out of the way and she holds it up, like pretending that it's a title match. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I totally want them to do that. Like, maybe not that necessarily, but basically that. Like, I want the ref to hold the TBS title up on Friday. I want it to be treated like it's a title match. Like Justin Roberts doesn't announce it as a title match, but then like Vicky comes over like, "Excuse me."
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, exactly.
For the TBS championship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ryan says he didn't like this one because she's defending a stolen title. Well, obviously it's going to be the chance for Jade to catch her. She's going to be out in the ring, and Jade's going to be able to run out with the baddies and try to get her belt back,
Well, so my argument, or not an argument, but my defense in the to defend the segment is AEW is not saying that this is a title match. It's
no,
not
of course
a title.
not.
And that's where it's okay. Like, in the confines of the story, because here's the thing, right? Nyla Rose is just being Nyla Rose. Like, I stole the championship. I'm the champion. Anna Jay, batshit crazy. So, like, you really think that Anna Jay is like Anna Jay knows that she didn't win the title, but Anna's like, fuck it. If that's what we're doing, that's just
perfect. Yeah.
winning the title. Let me get the title. Like, if anyone's gonna hold it, I want to hold it. So not only does it add prestige to the title because these women won it, even if they can't actually obtain it, the company isn't acknowledging it as a title change. It's not a title match. And that's where my point with the idea of booking it that way is, where it's like, you don't have Justin Roberts announced as a title match, but you have Vicky yell at him about it. You don't have the referee hold the belt up until Marina Shafir gets in his face and says, hold this fucking belt up.
Oh, that's perfect. That's even better than Vicky holding it up.
Yeah.
Have Marina Shafir step up all serious, and Paul Turner being like, "That'd be great." Oh, that's so good. I hope. Oh God, I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I hope you're right.
So yeah, that I think it's good fun and it's something unique. It's something
Oh,
different. And we'll get Jade versus Nyla Rose, and it'll be cool.
oh, that would be so good, dude. I could just picture like even Bryce just being like all scared of Marina, like, okay, dude, I want it. I need it.
So on Twitter, another quick little thing. Anthony Bowens has announced that due to the copyright claim of Scissor Me from Smart Mark Sterling, the Acclaimed are no longer allowed to tweet using scissor emojis.
No.
TNT Drama, the Twitter account, tweeted, "Everything is coming up citrus, baby." Hashtag AEW Dynamite.
Everything's coming up citrus.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that a new meme I'm not aware of? Oh, there we go. I got you. Got you. Yeah. All right. Next up, we had an absolute banger of a women's tag team match. Jamie Hayter, who got a massive pop from the crowd, and then so did Britt Baker, versus Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida. Man, these four women right here, I wrote down, this is the creme de la creme of AEW's women's roster. This is the best of the best. They put on absolute amazing matches when they're involved with each other. You can mix and match any of these four girls into a singles match, into a tag, into a trios, whatever you want to do, and it's great. I love all of these girls.
Yeah. You put focus on your women's division. Let it do the work. Let it get the TV time, and it'll pay dividends for you. The fans, they want to see it. I feel like some people are going to complain that, like, oh, well, you put it in quarter 7 of the 2-hour show, and that's always kind of the death quarter. But I would argue, and I've always been kind of especially with free TV. I always feel like if that's your weakest quarter, put something a little bit stronger on it, so that way you can get that quarter up.
Dude,
Um,
the
that's
crowd
always
was
been
hot for this match, so I actually think the ratings might go up for this, and it might actually this might actually be an anomaly here in
I'm
the
hoping.
ratings.
But yeah, this was an excellent match. So much talent here. Um, And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We have a match set up for next week for the interim women's championship. Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida. So that's going to be really good.
Like I just said, you could take any of these four and put them together. Wait till that's gonna be it's gonna be so good. I need a button that's like banger.
See,
Ryan
Ryan,
Davis says Jamie Hayter is over. She should be the TBS champ and Jade going for the world title. I am 100% for that. I think Jade needs a break. I think she should take a couple months off and then come back for that world title. But yeah, absolutely.
see, I think Jamie Hayter should be chasing the world title because my reasoning for that is I think you do need to break up Jamie and Britt for the
Yeah.
sake of Jamie being over. Uh, I think that they had the opportunity to pull the trigger, and maybe it was the signing of Saraya, which kind of made them hold off on it because you need to have a faction of heels on the women's side to ready to go against Saraya. But I don't know. I think that the right path for that is, the world championship. Not even that she has to win it right away, but you know, she needs to directly bash heads or go against Britt for the split to make sense in my mind.
Yeah. My only reasoning that I would be okay with the TBS is I really like Toni Storm as the women's champion right now. She's putting in a lot of work, and a lot of that work is great. So, I think she should go on a long run here. And we got to do something with Jamie. She's very over. It's crazy how she got over naturally, man. This is a very good story of a would you call her a homegrown talent?
For Jamie,
Yeah, she's been in AEW since I can remember.
I mean, yeah, I think that. I mean, to my knowledge, I don't know exactly what she was doing prior. I know she was wrestling in the UK, so I think if you're not working for a somewhat major promotion, it's safe to consider them homegrown.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's been wrestling, around the world. So
Yeah, I
I don't know.
get that, but I, I definitely would say that AEW has made her a star for sure, and she's put a lot of work in herself doing that. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I mean, I think that's something that we've seen over the last month is just putting over the younger talent, making it clear that while it was nice having the star, the established stars, it was nice having the elite, it was nice having CM Punk. I mean, we've seen it. The company's going to be just fine. They're doing over 1 million every week since All Out. Like the fact that that happened, like that's all you need to know. You could just leave it at that. But
Yeah.
you see this tonight. Like, I mean, obviously the tickets went on sale before All Out, but that crowd was hot for everything. Like they didn't need the elite. They didn't need CM Punk. I mean, I know Jericho and Danielson were wrestling, but you look at these other matches, they didn't need them.
No.
And I think, which so we'll get into it at the end of the show. I do think we're going to see the elite very soon, and I
Yeah, I
mean
hope
very,
so.
very soon. And we'll discuss why in a little bit.
Now,
But yeah,
since you mentioned the elite, did you catch Brandon Cutler's match on Dark?
I did. It was very
It was
good.
so good, dude. Him and Serpentico put on an absolute banger. It was so good.
Oh, I thought you were talking about him and Kip.
Oh no, the one with
Well, I saw it
Serpentico.
was okay. Well, then watch Dark. Then you're talking about Elevation. Watch
Okay,
Dark.
yes, Elevation, yes.
Dark was very good this week, in my opinion. They did Kip Sabian versus Brandon Cutler.
Oh,
Really good match.
so he's had 2
Really.
matches already since come back.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, man, awesome. I got to check out that one with Kip then.
Yeah,
But
it was real.
that
I
one with
really loved.
Serpentico, like Serpentico, like tried to grab the spray can to spray him, but then he tricked him and he got him, and then he got him with both cans, and he was just that was hilarious, man. I love Cutler. He's my favorite stooge of all time.
Yeah. And to Ryan Davis's point, yes, Jamie was in AEW like
Yeah,
very early, but she did have to go back to England during the pandemic.
I remember that. She disappeared for a while. I do remember that now. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
So for this match, I didn't write too much down because, dude, they were going 100 miles an hour, just move after move and spot after spot. I couldn't keep up. I went to start writing stuff down, and I was just like, I wouldn't be able to watch. I can't like write and watch at the same time. I just gave up. This match was
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, very good. Very, very good match.
Basically Britt and Hikaru Shida get into a little counter pin battle at the end there, where they're flipping each other over for the pins, and Hikaru Shida wins the counter battle. She gets Britt in kind of an upside down, almost a pile driver pin looking thing, and Hikaru Shida picks up the 1-2-3. So this, like we said, this was great. This was an absolutely amazing match, and these 4 women are just killing it right now. Can't say anything about AEW's women's division in the negative at the moment. It's as good as it's been. All right, next up, we had a quick promo from the Butcher and the Blade calling out Mox and Claudio. Another thing that I don't think I would ever do, to be honest with you. But here we are. And we had the bunny back. I'm not sure if this was the first time we've seen her back, but we did have the bunny back on cam, and she is looking incredible as always. So I do believe we're getting Mox and Claudio versus the Butcher and the Blade. Was this on Rampage?
Yeah, this is going to be on Rampage tomorrow.
Nice.
So Butcher and Blade were on Elevation tonight. They were there for the Elevation taping.
Okay.
Apparently, they got a huge reaction last night or tonight. So yeah, maybe they might have thrown this match together for that reason. I mean, they got apparently a huge pop.
Do you know where? I think they're both from Buffalo, New York, aren't they?
Yeah, they're from Buffalo.
Huh. I wonder if it's because they're so close to the border. I know that's kind of the closer you get to the border, the closer they like each other.
Yeah, I mean, they're a cool act. They're a cool team, so you never know.
That should be a banger of a match. I haven't seen anything on Twitter, and I'm probably going to stay off till Friday again, just to avoid spoilers.
Well, so Rampage is getting taped tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's right. They're doing live because they're in Toronto.
Well,
okay.
It's not live.
Or not live, but yeah.
Tony got a good deal to run two nights out of the Coca-Cola Coliseum. So they ran Dynamite tonight along with a pretty good Dark Elevation taping. A lot of Canadian talent showed up, including I don't want to spoil it, but there was a tag team that people know of, at least I know them, who wrestled on Elevation,
Okay, okay.
who are not currently signed with AEW.
I don't
So
mind you saying who it was since that's not really like a Rampage spoiler.
I guess so, and also it's not like a super. I don't want to like hype people up. It's the Bollywood Boys.
The Bollywood Boys.
Yeah,
The
I don't
name
want
rings a
to.
bell. Where are they from?
They were in the 205 Live.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, they were brought in for. I believe they were there for the Cruiserweight Classic, um, and then they kind of bounced around 205 Live and did a few other things with the Fed.
Wait, were they the
They're
two? Were they the two brothers? The one that kind of just by like stepping off the side of the ring, his knee went out.
I don't remember, but I know that I know of them.
Okay, okay.
It was noteworthy enough to say it. I realized after I said it, I was like, this makes it seem like it's a huge thing.
Oh, it's all good.
It's
I'm
not
kind of
huge.
excited now. Actually, I want to see those guys. If it's who I think it was, but we'll
Yeah.
see.
But yeah, I mean, it's some good stuff.
All right, next up, it was time for the main event, the All Atlantic Championship. Orange Cassidy versus the Bastard Pac. Holy shit, this was an amazing match, and holy shit, that belt is freaking gorgeous, man. That All Atlantic belt might be my favorite belt in wrestling at the moment. It has this look of just, absolute class. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for the world title belt, but yeah, this was.
I was too, but that's getting a little old for me. I actually think they should update that one just slightly, like not like a full blown update, but just give it a little bit of a tweak here and there. But
Ryan
yeah,
Davis.
I've loved that one too.
Yeah, this was an excellent main event. Really awesome match. Orange Cassidy finally got the win on Pac. That's been a years long storyline. Really awesome moment. It's always really cool to. Again, it's funny, but after all out, it's like my guys kept winning. So it's like
Yeah.
the Acclaim became tag champions. They were homegrown talent, got over as fuck. Orange Cassidy, consistently a top merch seller, super over. Like the people love Orange Cassidy. I understand this, disagreeing opinions. I do think this guy can win a world championship. I think he has all of the makings to be a world champion. Obviously not a super long reign or anything, but he deserves it. I think he can do it. I think he has all the tangibles you need to have kind of that underdog, babyface world champion that you can have him go in there with big guys and have him put on great matches and overcome the odds. But tonight was about him winning the All Atlantic Championship, and it was just again, it's just excellent moment. It was a perfect moment.
Dude, this match was so good. Excellent, excellent moment there at the end. So early on in this match, one of my favorite spots. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do this to Orange Cassidy. So Pac just kind of whooped his ass real quick at the beginning, just started just beating the bricks off of him. And he put his own hands into his pockets. And it was almost like a finish him moment from like Mortal Kombat where someone's kind of like standing there, kind of like wobbling around. So he put his hands in his pockets for him. And then Pac did the little tiny tap kicks. He did Cassidy's kicks. And then the little step to the side thing. That was actually really cool to see from Pac. I had never seen like, that lighthearted side of Pac before, even though he does, do some stuff like that, but it was nice to see, wasn't it?
I don't think it was meant in a lighthearted tone. It was meant more in a mocking tone.
Well, of course, yeah.
And I think again, the storytelling in this match was just really well done. It's you look at the matches these guys have had. The first match was Orange Cassidy, early AEW, not trying, but that's the point of the character is that if he wanted to try, he could go and do anything. The sky's the limits. At the first time Pac faced him, didn't really put effort in, and he definitely took Pac to the limit. The next match, which was at Grand Slam, I believe, they have this other match where he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna try this time, and Pac had to cheat to win, and then this time it was beyond that. It was like, I don't have to try, I'm gonna succeed, and I really liked Pac just taking Orange Cassidy lightly.
Yeah.
I thought that
Yep.
was super well done in a sense. And, and Pac, because he took him lightly and he toyed around with him, he did take control of the match early. And I thought that it was just, again, it's just really well told storytelling over the course of years in these matches where, like, you go back and watch them back to back to back and you could see the growth. You talk about like MJF's growth, but just the growth of almost of the company, I want to say. It's
Yeah.
just like you could just see it where it's like these two characters have come, they started here and now here they are where, the dynamic is complete and, Cassidy is not to be taken lightly and Pac finally decided to take him lightly and that's the night where Cassidy says, "No, I'm going to win."
And yeah, they started telling the story of this at the very beginning of the match too, like as Orange Cassidy made his way to the ring. He didn't do his slow walk to the ring. He didn't stand up there and do his thumb. Before he got into the ring, you saw him clench his fists and he took a deep breath and he got in the ring like quickly. Everything, there were so many little hints that pointed towards him winning this. And after you see him winning, then you can kind of remember those little things. It was great. I absolutely loved it. They're starting to do this with a lot of matches. Like, remember the MJF versus Wheeler Yuta match? Like, they told a story inside the match. You know what I mean? Like, they're getting really good at doing this right now. And I hope they start, getting more and more of this, for all the matches going. It's going to be really good.
Yeah.
So, we had all kinds of craziness here. We had a DDT on the floor outside. Pac hit Orange Cassidy with a freaking tombstone pile driver out on the ramp. Pac jumped back in the ring, told the ref to count him out. Cassidy's lifeless body kind of rolled all the way down the ramp, again utilizing the ramp, to get Cassidy back towards the ring. Really good idea that they do that stuff. I don't know where it happened, but Pac's ear got ripped open somewhere. I can't tell where the blood was coming from. Hopefully he didn't have like a ruptured eardrum or anything like that, and maybe he just tore the skin somewhere. But he was bleeding pretty bad from pretty much inside of his ear somewhere. Pac goes out to grab the hammer, and it turns out that Danhausen is the timekeeper tonight, and he curses Pac, but he gets KO'd for his troubles. Pac goes under the ring, grabs another hammer because Bryce Remsburg, took the hammer away from him. And this is what I was saying earlier tonight, that I really enjoyed how Bryce got involved in this match. And he was like, no. I saw what happened last time and I saw last week. I'm not letting you do this again. Almost insinuating that Bryce went back and watched the match. You know what I mean? And he saw how Pac used the hammer and cheated a couple times. So I really enjoyed that touch there with Bryce. Pac grabs another hammer, gets an orange punch as he goes for the hammer strike. He kicks out. He tries to roll up Orange Cassidy with no-go 2.9, and then Orange hits, I think, this might have been the third, possibly the fourth orange punch of the night, and we get the 1, 2, 3, and the crowd fucking exploded for this. And so did I. And, luckily, everyone's gone. I have the house completely to myself. They're all off on a cruise to Bermuda. They left me here to tend with the animals. But I shouted at the top of my lungs. I was like, let's fucking go! So this was great. I'm super happy for Orange Cassidy. This is the exact belt that the first time we started talking about whether he should be a champion, this is the exact belt that I said he should have. So I am all for this. Congratulations to Orange Cassidy, your new All-Atlantic champion. All right, so that's it for an absolutely fantastic, unbelievably fantastic episode of Dynamite. Do you have the full lineup for Rampage?
I wasn't able to get the full lineup because they kind of did it in a weird way this week.
Yeah, they kind of just split it up all night.
Yeah, they're doing the tag match for Rampage with Butcher and Blade versus Hangman, or no, I'm sorry,
Mox and Claudio.
Mox and Claudio. They announced,
Ethan Page versus Isaiah Cassidy to secure their contracts.
Yeah, Anna Jay versus
Nyla Rose.
Nyla Rose.
Okay.
What's the other
That's
one?
3. There's probably one more, but I'm not sure. I'm sure they said it in there somewhere, but you know.
They did, and I just don't remember. Next week on Dynamite, though, I know we have the AEW World Championship match, Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page. We
Oh.
have the interim women's championship match, Hikaru Shida versus Toni Storm. We were going to hear from MJF. We're going to get a sit-down interview with Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta. And I think
It's
there
going to
was
be
one other match.
FTR and Shawn Spears versus the Embassy. I was like,
Yeah,
how
the
did I
Pinnacle.
forget that?
Yeah, the Pinnacle versus the Embassy, right?
Yep.
That's on Friday. But so yeah, I think they announced one more match for Dynamite, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. I'm sure they're going to reiterate it when we see it on Friday.
Yeah, no
Dynamite's
worries, no
on
worries.
Tuesday next week.
But yeah, that's going to be an excellent Rampage. You know, don't sleep on Rampage this week, guys. This FTR with Shawn Spears coming back, this is going to be really good, and it's being taped on its own. It's not like an afterthought to Dynamite. I really recommend watching this one this week. This is going to be a banger.
Big T asks us, so now that Orange is champion, where would you like to see him go from here? First opponent. I mentioned it earlier. I think Ethan Page is where he's going to go first.
Yeah, I absolutely love that idea too.
I think that's where they're going. Ethan Page has made it clear that he wants to pursue the All Atlantic Championship. He's also made it clear that he hates gimmick wrestlers. So, I mean, he beat up Danhausen, he beat up Luigi Primo. Orange Cassidy's kind of next in that line, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I think the Elite are coming back very soon.
I do too. We got 2 Brandon Cutler matches. It would be very odd for them to not come back as well.
So a few other things that I think are noteworthy. I think number one, I thought it was very interesting that at Dynamite tonight during the merch at the merch table, they had a new The Elite shirt. It was a Canadian flag, The Elite shirt. Also, interestingly enough, right before Dynamite, about an hour before Dynamite, Ace Steel on his Twitter account, which it is private, so people can't just go look at it. He tweeted out a video clip yelling "freedom," so that could be interesting. I mean, that could mean that everything's kind of clearing up with that. Obviously,
freedom,
freedom.
Maybe that means because remember how everybody said he had been released and he was fired or all that stuff, and then all of a sudden the other day it's like nobody's been released and nobody's been fired.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't really know.
No, we don't. Again, honestly, I know it was a big thing. I think at the end of the day, time has passed. Part of me feels like, honestly, part of me really feels like I think everyone involved just kind of was like, okay, that didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
I just feel like a month has passed. I feel like Punk's had time to sit at home with his injury. I feel like the Elite have had time to sit at home, regardless of whatever happened. I feel like everybody involved is just like, okay. Like, I think we all let things get a little out of control here.
Yeah.
But, like, it happens, and I think we see everybody return. That's what I think.
We know it happens. We saw Draymond Green punch Jordan Poole, man. Like, they're on the same team. This shit happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to defend it in that sense, but I mean, I just think at the end of the day, there's so much money for all of them still to make. I do think it's also a pride issue. Obviously, there is a wrestling Cold War, whether people want to admit it or not. There's a lot of sleazy shit going on. There's contract tampering. There's fake smearing of Ariel Helwani going on Twitter today, just being the absolute biggest fucking clown you could possibly be. I don't know if you saw that today, but that was
I did not.
Okay, so you know who Ariel Helwani is, correct?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so he did an interview. Now, historically speaking, after Dana White threw his ass, got him out of UFC.
Yeah.
He started becoming like basically a WWE guy.
Yeah.
And so he did the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, correct?
What's that?
He was a part of Extreme Rules, correct? on Sunday or Saturday?
Ariel?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know. I saw on Twitter he was part of like the main event with the fight pit. He had something to do with it, whether he voiced something or whatever it is.
Oh, it's probably because Daniel Cormier was the special guest referee, so he probably voiced something. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I heard. But so this guy is a very pro WWE guy. He has been. So basically, he does his interview with Tony Khan. And now he's done this interview. He did an interview with Triple H, asked him basically no hardball questions. Sits down with Tony Khan, asks him about the All Out Brawl. Tony basically, as we know, there's pending legal action.
Yeah.
Tony said, "I can't talk about it." He asked him about Nick Khan. Tony Khan does say that he's spoken to Nick Khan, but doesn't want to talk about it either because that's not shit that he needs to be talking about on an interview. Basically putting Tony in some tough spots. Basically, Ariel goes on his show, I don't know if it was today or whatever, and he basically says that Tony Khan was the worst interview he ever had. He didn't want to answer anything. He said WWE is, his words, I believe, were like light years better or like by a large margin better. And if you don't agree with that, you're a liar and an idiot. And basically, he just kind of shit on the AEW fans and Tony Khan. It was this whole big thing. And I'm like, this guy was like, I'm listening to these clips. I'm like, what a fucking clown. But my point is that there's just this wrestling Cold War going on, and it's just all this dumb shit. It's all this sleazy shit. Clearly, this guy is a Hunter guy. Clearly, he's a WWE guy. He's going to say things that they want him to say. He's going to stir problems and talk shit. And I think that Punk and the Elite are probably sitting at home like, okay, we kind of need to put this shit to the side and, got to take it seriously because this shit is happening. And they need to set the precedent and kind of be the locker room leaders they're supposed to be. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that all that's going to be in the past, and I do think we see all of them again. I mean, that's just kind of what I think, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't know about the Elite showing up on Tuesday though. I feel like they wouldn't come back for a taped show. You know what I mean?
Not taped.
What's that?
The Tuesday show is a live Dynamite.
Oh, I thought you said the Tuesday show is going to be, or they're taping Rampage tomorrow. Is that what's happening?
They're taping Rampage tomorrow, and then Dynamite is live in Cincinnati on Tuesday.
Okay, so you think they're showing up on Tuesday then?
I'm not 100% calling that. I think Big T was calling that, but I think we see them very soon.
Okay, yeah.
I think they had Don Callis. I know Don Callis is from Canada, but they had Don doing media calls in Canada today. They're selling a new Elite shirt. You have Ace Steel tweeting freedom, that would imply that this whole thing is over, or at least on its way to being over with. I don't know. I feel like the wheels are turning, and I think at the end of the day, if anyone gets fired, it would be Punk. That being said, I don't think anyone's getting fired.
No.
Tony Khan doesn't even want to fire Andrade. So, which again, my opinion, he shouldn't fire Andrade. We should never see Andrade again for like 3 more years until his contract runs out. But, Tony's not going to fire CM Punk because you never know. I mean, Punk, I don't think Punk would ever go back to WWE. I don't think that at all.
No.
But, you're better off having CM Punk under contract. Like, that's just a fact. Like, even happened tonight. You had Mox took a shot at CM Punk, and the crowd did not cheer the shot at CM Punk. It was kind of a...
I think they were like, did he just...
Yeah, I don't think that it was a positive... Not that it's a knock against Mox. I mean, take that shot, dude. You're John Moxley. You should take that shot. But, yeah, I don't think the crowd was like, yeah, fuck CM Punk. No, they were just
not at all.
They're like, okay. Yeah, that happened. That's a thing.
All right. Well, that was an excellent, excellent episode of Dynamite tonight. I have to be up early to go take care of the restaurant because, Curly and them are off on their Bermuda trip. So I think we're going to call it a night here. Do you want to go ahead and close us out, sir?
Sure. This has been episode 80 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe or a follow, depending on where you find us. Thank you to everyone who hung out with us live here in the chat tonight. Thank you to everyone who's listening to us in the future on YouTube or Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. Shout out to the coach in the future. You can follow us on Twitter at Broken Table Show or on Facebook and Instagram at the Broken Tables Podcast. We go live on YouTube following every single AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and even pay-per-views. Just a reminder, Dynamite is live on Tuesday night next week in Cincinnati. Hope to see you guys again. Enjoy your weekend. Go Birds, go Phils, and see you next time.
Absolutely. And real quick, shout out to all of our new listeners or viewers, whether you watch the video on Spotify. Ever since the Dynamite in Philly, where we had our banner, we have a huge jump in the numbers on Spotify. So thank you all for listening or watching on Spotify. I do put the video up there if you're not aware. So thank you guys very much on Spotify. Again, the Rampage shows are exclusive to YouTube. That's why you won't see them on the Spotify there. So please come by our YouTube and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you can know when the Rampages go live. But until next time, everybody, thank you guys very much for joining us. And Top Guys, out.